Hello guys, welcome back. So today we'll be starting with a new topic, that is ascending tracks. So ascending tracks are basically sensory tracks. They are ascending. Ascending means moving upwards. Okay. So these are taking the information from your hands, from your feet, from the peripheral parts of the body to your brain cortex. So these are taking the sensations, the sensory information, and they'll be taking it to where? The sensory cortex of your brain. What it was? It was the post central gyrus, where it was located in the parietal bone. Okay. So starting with the ascending tracks. So I'm drawing the spinal cord over here. This is the top view of the spinal cord. You're looking at it from above, right? So you have something called as gray matter and white matter in your spinal cord. Okay. Now this which I have drawn, or I'm shading it, it is the gray matter. Okay. So this is the gray matter. The outside matter is the white matter. Okay. This gray matter and white matter, as you can see, there are two protrusions on the anterior side and the posterior side. So these are the two anterior horns, and similarly on the back side, what will be two posterior horns. Okay. Now similarly, we have roots, that is the sensory information will come, they will form a bundle or will come and synapse into the posterior column. So this is the posterior column, you can say, okay. This is the place where the sensory roots will come in, and so posterior, or we can also call it as dorsal column. Okay, here who comes? Sensory information. Sensory neurons will come and synapse over here. And this side which you see, this is the anterior. This is the anterior, or we can call it as ventral. Here the motor neurons will end up. Oh, motor neuron. Motor information comes over here, okay. You see here over this side, see lateral. Here sympathetic neurons exits from the lateral side. This is the lateral side. What will exit? Sympathetic neurons will exit from here, from the lateral side. Understood? So now let's do the track in the spinal cord. Okay. So again I'm drawing that horns or grey colored part. I'm localizing the tracks. This is just a summary. You should know at which place of the spinal cord which tract is present, or where they will end up. Okay. So here you have this anterior spinothalamic tract. Make this diagram. You don't need to make every diagram I make, or you don't need to feel pressurized that I am using pictures. Okay. You can make a simplified version of it. I am basically adding these pictures and drawing so that you understand it well. If you understand, there's no compulsion that you should draw it again. Keep it in your mind. No need to put it on your book, but write down the notes. Okay. So this diagram you should draw. It will be helpful. So this is the anterior spinothalamic tract. You have a lateral also. Then you draw here the lateral spinothalamic tract. So, and then you have this spinocerebellar tract, one over here and one over here. Okay. So this is the anterior spinocerebellar tract. Then you have posterior or dorsal spinocerebellar tract. Then you have here two, this is in the posterior column, okay. So this together we call it as posterior column. We have a specific name for this pathway, that is DCML pathway. I'll be explaining you in the next slide. So this posterior column, and there is this nucleus or this tract, we call it as fasciculus cuneatus, and this is fasciculus gracilis. Okay. So make this this diagram. Then I'm giving you in a table form that you should write down. That's it. Nothing more to be written down from this video. Rest all the things is for your better understanding. Okay. So I'm starting with the tracks over here. Okay. So as I said, the ascending tracks, we have how many? Anterior spinothalamic, lateral spinothalamic. I'm majorly first dividing into the major tracks. We have something called as anterolateral tracks. Then we have spinocerebellar tracts. That is from spinal cord to the cerebellum. Okay, spinocerebellar tract. Then we have DCML. DCML stands for two words. Okay, DC stands for dorsal column, ML stands for medial lemniscus. This is just the thing that you need to know. In the next slide, I'll be explaining you the whole process or the whole pathway. Okay, but that is for only your understanding. Okay, so this DCML is dorsal column, medial lemniscus. Okay. Now I'm dividing these tracks properly. You have anterior spinothalamic. Spinothalamic means from the spinal cord to the thalamus. Then you have lateral spinothalamic. In the spinocerebellar, you have anterior spinocerebellar and posterior spinocerebellar. There are more, but you just remember this part. Okay. And DCML is then fasciculus gracilis I'll write the whole spelling. Fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus, what was the other part? Fasciculus cuneatus. Okay. Now this anterior spinothalamic tract and this anterolateral tract and this DCML, this anterolateral and DCML, they do the conscious proprioception. Now someone might have a doubt that what is proprioception. So somewhere write down proprioception means awareness of position and movements of our body. So if consciously we are aware about our position and movements, then that conscious proprioception is done by whom? Anterolateral and the DCML. Okay, but the unconscious proprioception, do you even realize how you're sitting? Sometimes you do, but many a times you are not even aware about how you're standing, what is your posture. You're not many times aware. That is unconscious proprioception. That is controlled by your spinocerebellar tract. Okay, so proprioception meaning is done. Now let's do this. The function of each tract. The anterior spinothalamic tract is responsible for your light, crude touch and pressure. Now this light, crude touch means what? It means that you're able to sense that something has touched you, but you are unable to localize at exactly what place you felt that sensation. That is crude touch. And the complete opposite of this touch is known as fine touch, which will be done by the DCML pathway. Okay. So remember, anterior spinothalamic tract, light, crude, touch and pressure. Lateral spinothalamic tract is responsible for your pain and temperature sensations. If you're feeling pain anywhere or if you're feeling high temperature, that sensation was taken up by the lateral spinothalamic tract. Okay. Now this anterior and posterior together have one function, that is they controls coordination. What was the function of cerebellum? The same function. Okay. Controls coordination and does importantly what I said you in the before, unconscious proprioception. Okay. So when you're not conscious or when you're not aware, but still it keeps your positions, your movements in check. Okay. Now this DCML, I'll write its function over here. It is for the fine touch, vibration and conscious proprioception. I'm not writing conscious, you just remember it. Okay. Proprioception. Now specifically fasciculus gracilis will control your lower limb sensations and fasciculus cuneatus will control your upper limb sensation. Okay. Understood? And remember this fine touch. Fine touch is in DCML, crude touch is in anterior spinothalamic tract. Okay. This was lower limb movements, that is basically T6 level, that is thoracic 6 vertebrae below. Below the T6 vertebrae sensation will be controlled by the fasciculus gracilis. T6 or above sensation will be taken up by the fasciculus cuneatus tract. Okay. So this was all about the tracks. Make this diagram compulsorily or this table compulsorily. This is what you have to know. This is what you have to remember. So we can start with DCML now. This is not compulsory for you to make down the notes of it. I'm explaining you so that you understand the concepts. I just don't want you to mug up everything without understanding how they actually work. You're learning a human body, right? So you should know actually how it works. Don't just mug up things. This is for your understanding. Okay. So starting with the DCML pathway. Okay. So first I am drawing the lobe, sensory lobe, which was it? Parietal lobe or post-central gyrus. You can say post-central gyrus. Okay. Then there you have this thalamus. Thalamus becomes your relay center once again. Then you have the medulla oblongata, where this nucleus are present. Not exactly in the medulla oblongata. Yeah, exactly in the medulla oblongata. Then you have the spinal cord. Okay, from where this. So I'll start drawing. First, let's draw this two nucleus. One is present over here, other is present over here. Okay. Same on the another side. That is, one will be present here, other will be present here. Okay. What happens is, now you get the sensation. Okay. So let me start first with the upper limb sensation. T6 or above. Okay. So you got the sensation. You're moving it up. Okay. Going. I'll name them. This is fasciculus cuneatus and this is fasciculus gracilis. Okay. So the upper limb sensation was taken by whom? Fasciculus cuneatus. So fasciculus cuneatus took the sensation. Now this fasciculus cuneatus, this neuron is called as first order neuron. What it is known as? First order neuron. Okay. Here in the fasciculus cuneatus, which is present in the medulla oblongata, here second neuron will come. Second neuron will start function. They will decussate. What is the meaning of decussate? Decussate is crossing something. So they'll come to the opposite side. Okay. Then they will go to the thalamus. Okay. And they go in a very big bundle, we can say. Okay. Or a fat bundle. This is the medial lemniscus. What it is? Medial lemniscus. Second order neuron. Okay. Now from the thalamus, then the thalamus will send this to the respective postcentral gyrus. Now this is the third order neuron. What it is? Third order neuron. Understood? Now let's do the same with the fasciculus gracilis. That will take now the lower limb sensation. So lower limb sensation comes, they will go and sinus with the fasciculus gracilis. Same, first order. Then from the fasciculus it will be taken up, right? In a bundle go, that will be again termed as what? Medial lemniscus. Okay, this is second order. Then from the thalamus they will be spread through the postcentral. This is the third neuron, third order neuron. Understood? So this was, remember it. So this was all about DCML, that is dorsal column. They are entering through the dorsal column, right? The posterior column. Because why? We are taking the sensory functions, right? The sensory roots end up where? In the spinal cord, in the dorsal column. So they are termed hence dorsal column, medial lemniscus, because they will form the medial lemniscus. Understood? So this is how they function. Once again, I'm repeating. It was just for you to learn how they work. Okay? So that's it. Remember the tract very well. Thank you.